What is going on? So that's what I've been doing today. I bought 3 cars today. And let me go ahead and tell you about. All right, that was wild. Let me go ahead and tell you about that experience. I learned a lot today. I learned a lot today. Um, Essentially, I've been at that since 8 o'clock this morning. It is now 7. I got finished around 6:45, and essentially, it takes a couple of hours to buy a car because essentially about about an hour if everything's set up. So that took some time. And I learned a lot today because essentially what I wanted to do was, here's the goal plan. Here's the game plan. The game plan is to buy 30 cars before June 1st. And I didn't really know how that was going to go. So I went ahead and I started buying cars today. So literally, it took all day to get these 3 cars. And I was moving pretty quick. It took all day to get 3 cars. So tomorrow, which is Wednesday, which Thursday, my goal is to buy 1 car tomorrow, 1 car Thursday, and 1 car Friday. Because 3 cars in one day going to dealerships, it's too much. It is too much, man. Um, I am tired, because I've been signing papers and stuff. And essentially, as my business scales, because once I buy these 30 cars, I'm not going to be buying as many in June, July, August, and September. But October is going to start amping up again. And October, November, December is going to amp up again. So one of the things I've learned, like, here's the game plan. I want to rent these cars for a year, right? Which means that, if I'm going to rent these cars to Uber drivers who are going to depend upon a dependable car to make money, I need to get some dependable cars. So the first round, and I actually went for this white car, right? And I saw he had another one and asked him how much for both. Let me tell you what's going on. Right now, the car market uh, is hot. Everybody's buying cars. Everybody's buying cars. And the guy I got these 2 cars, this one and the lighter gray one, he actually showed me what was going on at the dealer's auctions. He had a list of cars he was interested in, and he had prices he wanted to pay. And it reminded me of being in the storage auction business, because what he had on his paper, they went past that like with a quickness. I mean, because there was one car he was interested in, um, and he's like, the most I'll do is 9,100. Went to 9. It went to 10.5 like that, and the car sold for 12.5, and he wanted to pay 9,500. And what I'm finding out is a lot of these dealers don't have a lot of wiggle room. They really don't have a lot of wiggle room because someone commented that people were making $800 to $2,000 a car, and it's more like they're making 1,200, 1,500 a car right now depending upon how they buy. Like, this is a crazy, crazy market, right? Crazy, crazy market. And it's going to be like this. So I got to get my 30 cars more than likely from dealerships. I feel there will be a few private owner deals, because what I'm going to do is pull some. This is another thing. I paid cash for all these. I went to the bank. One of them I did a cashier's check, and the other two I did cash money. And the third time I went to the bank, they gave me all 50s. They had ran out of hundreds. They gave me all 50s. I was like, what? That's crazy. So I'm starting to shape this up a little bit, because, like I said, trying to get 3 cars in one day, I got a plan for that. And essentially, I'm going to be buying cars virtually every day in May. At least 1 car per day in May. And it's going to be a rough, like, I am tired. And essentially, it's going to be a process, because let me go ahead and tell you my game plan. I figured out a way how to get on Turo. Now, these don't rent for that much on Turo. I did find one guy in Oregon, and he was renting a car pretty regularly, and something happened to the car, and the car is disabled. I don't know why it's disabled. But essentially, I'm going to use Turo, and I'm going to use HireCar. So my first goal is to get 10 cars like this. Now, I went beyond my budget on these because I just wanted to get started, because I got my projections, but until I actually start putting cars on the platform and start running them out, I really don't know. So I wanted to get started. The car at the end is the only one that came with 2 keys. So tomorrow I got to go get some additional keys. And one of the things, since I have them in my possession right now, I have full coverage, because one of the things that got me was, if I'm driving home and I have an accident and I just got liability, that's like a $10,000 loss. I'm like, it's just worth the additional money. And like, we're talking about 60, 70 bucks to make sure that I'm covered. But May is going to be real interesting. Also, to the people in the corporate toolbox, in the art of holding, I have not forgotten you people. It's just, I've been putting so much time and energy into getting this thing started. And now that I finally got it started, I'm going to go back to my schedule, because, like, if I do 1 car a day from now to June 30th, and, I'm not buying any cars on Sunday. Sunday's going to be really rough, because, so I've got 24 days. Well, let's say 26 days in May to buy cars. And I got 3 more days in this month to buy cars. So it's going to be kind of tight. It's also, let me go ahead and what's up? Yeah, we're going to start doing these streams a little bit more often. What's up? All right. Oh, everything is going up, man. Everything. Kill switches. This is something else. This is another thing that I got to. I check this out. Like Christian on the kill switches. They got some kill switches on Amazon, but they don't have that many. So I got to find the kill switches. I got to get the software because the kill switches and the GPS are one device. So I got to get those, and I got to get those installed, and I got to buy extra keys. And also, it's a process because I also got to get the cars inspected for Uber and Lyft. I got to yeah, I did not send out a notification because I'm outside doing this on the phone, and it was going to be kind of funky trying to send out notifications and stuff. But I'll be the next live stream. I'll be back in the office, so we'll be back to that. But one of the things that was really interesting, because I was talking to a lot of car people today. So, this thing officially got started today, and I'm gonna put a car on Turo tonight just to see, because essentially I have to see what the process is like. I actually have to see how it goes, and then I got some cars. I got to get the extra cars, extra keys, extra keys, and I got to get the kill switches, and then I'm gonna put the nicest one on Turo, see what it does. I don't really know what it's gonna do because essentially on Turo, you can't see the cars that are rented. They're not gonna pop up, unless you click on that person's icon to see what kind of cars they have. You can see their cars, and it'll tell you that these cars are unavailable. So the most I can rent the Acura TL out on Turo, it appears to be $45. And if it stays out all the time, $45 times 30 is like I think it's like 1,200 or 1,500 or something like that a month if it stays out all the time. I don't know. Also, I got to get better on my inspections because I found some stuff with the seat in the Acura. You can't see it when you're sitting in the driver's seat, but you can see it from the back seat. So it's not like a big thing, but it's still a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's still a thing. So I'm going to use Turo, I'm going to use Hire Car, and I'm going to use Get Around, essentially, just to get started, just to see. Advantage GPS. So, I got a lot of stuff to do. And this is why I got to buy. And the thing is, I got to stay on my one car a day. Like tomorrow, I got an appointment. And this is something else, too, that's happening. I'll look at some cars the night before, then the next day I'll call them. It's gone. People are buying cars like it's crack. So just because I see a car on the company's website doesn't mean that they have that car. Doesn't mean that they have that car. So that's another issue that is I am confronting because, my first go round is to get the nicer cars for the Uber drivers. And then I'm going to get some cheaper cars because Instacart, DoorDash, we're going to see how this whole thing goes. But one of the things that is intriguing is my business model, because I shared my business model with all the car people, and the car people, oh, this is something else. The guy that I bought two of these cars from, he has a dealership in a house in Marietta with essentially like double my driveway. and he's in the car business making money. So once I get these 30 cars and get them rented and work that out, my goal is to buy one car, because at that point I should have my dealer's license and I should be able to get into the auction. And I'm going to buy one car and I'm going to flip it, then take that money and keep flipping it and flipping it so I can learn the car business. I'm not going to just rent and rent and rent and rent and not learn the car business. So that's going to go down. But today was really illustrative of, me proving my thesis. Because, once again, for those of you who don't know, my thesis is you're better off starting a small business than investing in cryptocurrency or investing in the stock market, right? And that's my thesis. And I got a video, I don't know if it's going to come up tomorrow. I got a video that's going to be talking about either getting started or I wish I had this information. I don't know. But it's gonna be up at 6:30 in the morning. And we got a lot of ground to cover, because tomorrow I'm going to go get that one car. Well, here's the plan. First thing I do is I walk on the treadmill. That's first thing I do. As soon as I get out of bed, I get on the treadmill. And then I got to get that first car early. And then I got to make videos. So I got to get a better schedule, because just the research, the watching of videos, this all of this stuff that I've been doing has been very time consuming. And I got to get back to the training. I got to get back to, I've been pretty consistent, because when I'm on the treadmill, I do a video. So that's helping me with this channel. And I haven't completely fallen off on Savage Finance. Video should have popped today, but that'll pop tomorrow. And it's really interesting what's going on, because when you look at what's going on in the economy, people are getting their hands on some money. When I was buying these two cars, he was getting phone calls for these two cars that people wanted to come look at them. And what I'm learning is, if you see a deal, you need to snap it up. Because more than likely, if it's a deal, it's not going to be there long. I went, because what happened with this car, I went to look at a Honda. And the Honda had some issues. The Honda had like it ran over something, and there was some more issues. And I was just like, I'm not trying to buy cars with a bunch of issues. And I understand I may have to pay more money for a nicer car, but essentially these cars in 14 months are going to be on the buy here, pay here line. So they got to look good now, and hopefully they don't get too beat up as they're being rented out. The stimmy money is in full effect. I'm buying cars because I'm going to start a car rental business. That's why I'm buying cars. Yeah, people out here, they're spending money, man. People are out here spending money. And one of the things, like today, my assistant came in and she took me to the dealerships to get these three cars, well, to the bank. And essentially, that's real interesting, because like if I go to the dealership and I do a cashier's check, then I got to go back to the bank. And what I like doing, because essentially I'm going to get more on my budget. I'm going to be more strict on my next purchases, because I went over budget on each one of these cars. And one of the reasons I did it is I was just sick and tired of waiting to get started. So I went over budget, about 1,000 on that one, 2,000 on that one, and 5,000. So I went over budget 8K to get started. And I'm going to find better deals. I'm going to find different cars. And I'm going to get better deals. But I just wanted to get this thing started, you know? Essentially, you know, May is going to be foundation month. May is getting cars, putting them on the platforms. I'm not even really going to include May income because what I want to do is start the process in June. I want to get it started in June. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do updates here on YouTube each month. I'm going to do monthly updates. I'm going to show you how much money I made, what I had to go through. I'm going to show you the expenses and all this other stuff because, you know, shout outs to all of the channels that's like, look, go do this business. You know, there's a lot of that that's really helpful to people. And I'm actually going to show you how to build a business, get into the details, get into the minutia, get into this. Oh, Jeeps Wranglers are super hot. And Jeep Wranglers, I looked at a 2014 Jeep Wrangler. It was 27,000 with 90,000 miles on it. So I'm going to have to, because essentially, that 15K I spent on that car, I'm not going to do that anymore. As much as I'm tempted to do this, because essentially I want to use the money that's been sitting in my personal checking account, and I don't want to just throw a bunch of money at the business. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially, I want the business to produce. So I gotta stick to my budgets. Like I said, this was just to get started. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to be back to my budget because essentially, because I overspent on these cars, I'm going to put that money back in the budget. So I will be able to hit my target of 30 cars, but I cannot keep overspending like this. I can't keep doing this because I'm going to end up with 15 cars, 15 kind of cars like this, which could be good. I don't know. I don't know until I get on the platform. But one of the things that I want to do and I want to show you guys is financial controls. One of the things that I want to do is, you know, show you, because essentially when you have a lot of money, that hides a lot of blind spots and deficiencies. So I gotta actually run this thing. Like tomorrow, I'm going to look at a Camry, which is going to be like 7. Because you know, you got to be careful with some of these dealers, because these fees add up. But I'm going to look at a Camry, and also I'm going to like the Jeep. The Jeep is not in this budget. Like the Jeeps, I mean, I could spend 100K on 4 Jeeps, easy, easy. And I don't know what the Jeeps are renting out because, like I said, I'm gonna put this one on Toro tonight just to see what it will do because I got 2 keys. I don't have the GPS thing on it, but if it doesn't rent out, I'm probably gonna have the GPS thing on it within 2 days. So we'll see. Uh, I may try it at 50 because I've seen 45, but I may try it at 50 just to see what happens. Yeah, Jeep Wranglers are hot, 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 hot. And if I wanted to spend the money on the Jeep Wranglers, I don't know, because essentially my business model is cars for working people to help out Uber drivers, to help out Instacart drivers. Um, so let me go ahead and I got to figure this out, because let me go ahead and explain this to you guys. If I can figure out how to get insurance, that is the big, big boogaboo. Big, big boogaboo. But if I can get insurance and make it affordable, where I can take $2,000 and rent out a car for $20 a day, which is $600, and include insurance, a lot of people can do that. So that's something else that I'm thinking about. So I am many, many months from the newer, hotter cars. Because, I've got a business plan, and I need to buy cars that people can afford. Because I was looking on Turo and I saw a bunch of Teslas. I don't know what the car payment is on a Tesla. I have no clue, but I saw a bunch of Teslas. I saw a bunch of Corvettes. Like a ton of Corvettes. And I know, and also this is something else that's funny. Like, these are nice cars. They're nice cars, but I have been conditioned to that Porsche and BMW life. Their drive, they're quiet. They're really, really quiet cars. And they have a little speed because they're 6 cylinders, but it ain't nothing like my BMW. It ain't nothing like my Porsche. It ain't even close. Different category. So we will see. But no Jeeps. I'm not buying any Jeeps because the Jeeps they're uber expensive. Right now, Jeeps are crazy expensive. So I'm not buying any Jeeps. And I'm going to stick with Honda Civics, Honda Accords, and Camrys. Because essentially these people are renting cars to make money. I'm trying to buy cars that I know Uber drivers will have. I have never been picked up in the Uber in the Prius, whatever they're called. That's not happened. Don't know if that's a possibility. And I've checked them out. You can get them really cheap. I might get the Priuses for the Instacart people and the Uber Eats, because they're not hauling anyone. They're just hauling food. So I might get that for those guys. I don't know. I really don't know how I'm going to do that. But essentially, this is the first round. And the first round was rough. So I'm going to, because essentially, let me go ahead and give you thoughts in my head. What's really hard is to buy a car that, at a certain level that doesn't have none of these cars, this one has 97,000, this one has 106, and this one has 102. So I can rent these cars out for a year and they can get 30,000 miles on them, and I can turn around and sell them fairly easy because, it's only got 120, 130,000 miles. But if I bought a car that already has 180, and then we put another 20 to 30 on it, so at that point it's sitting at 210, that's going to be a challenge. that's going to be a challenge. So I'm not. I'm thinking of the future, which is pretty interesting because the numbers. There's the numbers, and there's reality. And I did not know that. I should have known when the Porsche dealership was crowded. I should have known there was something afoot. Um, that I should have been aware of. Should have known that was coming because when I bought that Porsche, the dealership was packed, right? Interesting fun fact. I could sell that Porsche for about $4,000 more than what I paid for it right now, to let you know how crazy the car market is right now. And the BMW, actually, a lot of those are cheaper. I got a car with a CPO. I got warranties on my cars. So that's why I paid a little bit more. But yeah, man, it's crazy. So essentially, we will see. Hopefully, these cars will be rented in June. Like I said, I got to give myself time to get in the system. I got to give myself time. I got to talk to my guy tomorrow. And this is one of the reasons that when you start a business, there's so much running around. There's so much running around. There's so much vetting. There's so much talking to people. I think I found a place. This guy gave me some information on a guy who rents buildings for auto brokers, which will help me get my license. Because once I get my license, even if I have to pay more at an auction, since I'm going to be renting these, because I hope to have my dealer's license by July. Hopefully. Um, so we will see that because, going back to my strange economy videos, this is a very strange economy we have going on. We've got a lot of interesting things going on right now. And like I said, my thesis that I'm probably going to bring it up to 240. So I'm going to take another 90,000 and put it in this business because I got the 150 that was in my checking account. I have completely moved that 150 to the Wells Fargo account. And I've been using this other money from Disruptive Mail to buy these cars. But I'll be going to Wells Fargo to pull out money because I got to look at my numbers. But once we get this thing going, and we're going to see how it goes, we will get in the mix. Like I said, it's in the mix because this is a little easier. And I was talking to the guy in the dealership, and people are trying to finance new cars to put them on Turo. And I've seen a lot of stories of like this guy's, he bought this high-end car. His car payment's $1,000 a month. He rents it 6 times on Turo. I don't really know if that's true or not. I cannot say that it's false. But because essentially there are high-end cars on Turo that are renting for $300, $400, $500, $800 a day. However, just like the guy, I almost picked up a Porsche Cayenne to rent, but it's a 2010. It's got 122,000 miles on it. He wants 17 for it. I don't really know. That right there would have been a gamble. I know that these will rent. I know that these will rent. It's just about price point. I know that they will rent. But I don't really know if that Porsche will rent. And one of the things is, what's the model? We're trying to get cars for people who want to make money on Uber and Lyft. And like I said, I'm putting this one on Turo just to see what the Turo experience is like. Just to get a feel for it, to get my feet wet. And I'm going to do that. But toward the end of May is when we're really going to start cooking with gas. Because right now, this is just 3 cars. I got to get 27 more cars. I got to get 27 more cars. And the acquisition of that is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, because I was like, because essentially I was calling them some dealers. They don't take walk-ins. It's an appointment only. So there's little barriers here, little gotchas that I didn't, that once I started doing it, I saw this. But I'm confident that I can buy 1 car a day the rest of the week. I'm pretty confident that I can get away with that. And I've got some marketing ideals of how to use Craigslist to direct people to my listings on Turo. So I got a whole bunch of stuff to figure out. So one of the things is it took, because essentially, buying 3 cars in one day literally took 8 o'clock, from 8 to 6. It's 10 hours. That's all I was doing for 10 hours. I wasn't doing any of my other stuff. So that can't go on. Now, if I was to do that for 10 days in a row and get my 30 cars, then I would be done with it, which has kind of crossed my mind. But those 10 days, I'm not going to be able to do anything else. And I got more research to do, but this is the start of the fleet. And also, this is really intriguing from a business standpoint, because right now cars are hot. Cars are hot. I mean, what's going on right now is crazy. And also, the car rental facilities, they don't have cars. So this is forcing people to Turo. This is forcing people to Turo. And for the folks who built their Turo business last year, they're making money. They're making money because one of the things that I am aware of, like something else that I did, I have full coverage on all of these, because until I get them on the rideshare platform, like, just crazy thought, like I'm driving home and I get in an accident, right? And they only have liability. I'm out 10 G's. Just like that. Just, it could be something simple. So I would go ahead and spend the extra money, because this is one of the things that I'm learning very quickly. To get what I want, I got to spend money. Because I went there for a Honda, and the Honda had some issues. It had some cosmetic issues and stuff. It also had 164,000 miles on it. I did not know that, because I looked at it and I didn't really pay attention to the mileage. I'm really sensitive to the mileage, because, the most I will do, maybe 120. Just kind of depends on how I set this up. So, yeah, that's what's going on, man. So my intentions to get back to training this week, because tomorrow I'm only going to do 1 or 2 cars. More than likely, I'm just going to do one because, you know, this kind of reminds me of my storage auction days when I was a buyer. It's exhausting buying stuff. It is exhausting buying stuff. And also, this is something else too. I could get away with, like, you see, they're on the front lawn. I can get away with one, two, three. I could probably do 5 cars from the back of the driveway to the front of the driveway. So if need be, I got space for 8 cars in my 2 cars in the garage. So I'm just looking at the future, because it is my hope that once these cars go out, they stay out. But I don't know that yet. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe they stay out half the month and they come back. I don't know that. There's a whole bunch of unknowns that I am confronted with. I don't really know, because you got people here on YouTube and they talk a lot about the business, but I really would have appreciated a video that was talking about the GPS and the kill switch. No one's made that video. It'll probably be me making that video because, you know, with the rentals, you know, I'm not like crazy worried about that. But I know in the future I'm going to do buy here, pay here. And that's going to be mandatory for the buy here, pay here cars. So I might as well just go ahead, suck up that expense now on the front end and put it in the car. And then I got to figure out how this works. How does it integrate with my computer? I got a lot of research to do. But it also, like I said, like I'm not really counting the revenue from May because I'm in the build. So the first month that I'm going to count revenue is going to be end of June. Because end of June, because 1st of June is my intention to have 30 cars. Okay, 30 cars, and see what that looks like, see what that tastes like, see what that feels like, get that going. And then I'm going to take the money that those 30 cars produce and buy more cars. And I'm going to do that each month for a year. Or maybe based upon my projections, because here's the game plan. Buy these cars, rent them out for a year, maybe rent them out for 14, 15 months. Because as I spin this thing up, get to the point where the revenue is, well, I get to the point where I can buy 30 cars from the revenue and then take some money off the top. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to go buy 30 cars, rent them, and then just create this cycle of buying 30 cars every month, which is going to be 360 cars a year, 400 cars a year. Getting that into my system, and then once the car has been paid for due to the rental, then I can say, give me $2,000, give me $3,000, and then I can sell you this car and, you know, make the payments like $350 to $450. That's kind of where my mind is, because at $400 a month, that's $4,800 a year. That's $9,600. And just do 2-year notes. I'm not trying to have people in, you know, I don't know. Let me just go ahead and say that. I don't know, because in my mind right now is saying 2 years. But if I was to do 3 years, like $300 a month for 3 years, that's $3,600. That's $7,200. That's $10,800 over 3 years. But the longer the period, the more likely you're going to have an issue where the car may break down, They can't get to work. They can't make money. They can't pay. So I like the 2-year period because, like, let's say this white car, I rent it out, and by the time I'm ready to sell it, it has 135,000 miles on it, right? This is a Honda. I can get 200, 250, maybe even 300,000 miles out of a Honda. So at 130, and everyone knows that Hondas are really dependable, um, typically don't have problems. So someone can come to my buy here, pay here lot and go, hey, here's 2,000 or 3,000. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. And they be off with the car. So the first 14, 16 months, I have to look at my paperwork, is about building this and creating this and getting it going. And that's where having multiple streams of income comes in, because I can parlay this money back into the business, and I don't have to take any money out of the business. I can let this business grow, expand, breathe, because, I don't know how much money I'm going to make in June, but I do know what I'm going to do with it. Every time I get $10,000, I'm going to buy another car. And then I'm going to go through that process of putting the GPS on it. I'm going to go through that process of putting it on the platform. And as I go, I already know that things may change, because let's say things go way better than I expect. And then I might start, like, let's say I get to the 100K a month in revenue. I might start buying $30,000 cars and throwing them on Turo. And then, because most of the buy here, pay here cars, I haven't researched it. I've seen, essentially, they're like, give us $8,000, $9,000, and apparently people are doing this. So let's say I took a car that was $30,000 and I put it on Turo, and the car made $15,000 on Turo. And then I said, give me 10. So that will kind of sort of work. So, because one of the things I've noticed is when I go to these used car dealer lots, I see a bunch of BMWs. I see a bunch of Mercedes. I see a bunch of Range Rovers. I'm starting to see a bunch of Porsches. And the reason they have these cars is this is what people are buying. I see Cadillac, CTS. I see, I'm seeing a lot of high-end luxury cars in the used car marketplace. And like I said, right now I'm going to be dealing with the working man. I need a car to go make me some money. I'm going to be dealing with that from June till August of 2022. I already have a written plan. I already have a game plan. And I'm going to stick to that game plan, because essentially what I'm going to start doing is living off my YouTube money. Because my YouTube money is more than enough money for me to do what I need to do. So I'm going to start living off the YouTube money. And I'm going to start, this money from this business will be reinvested back in the business, live off the YouTube money, and then stack the course money, keep stacking that for the apartment complex. So that's kind of the game plan. That's my thought process. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Someone asked, did I kill digital money? I haven't killed digital money, but honestly, I'm struggling a little bit, because starting a business, doing all that research, the big time in there. So I've managed to keep these two channels going, and I'm probably going to start putting some content up there, because I got some stuff that I'm paying for that I need to utilize. So get that going and work on that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And for those of you who are in the corporate toolbox, the art of holding, I'm going to give you the details. Like, I got to go to Office Depot, or I got to get some files, because each car is going to get a folder with how much I paid for it, all the expenses. Like, two of these cars only have one key. I got to get an additional key. That's going to be like $300, I think, per car, something like that. So I got to get an additional key. One car already came with an additional key, and then I got to get the kill switches. And one thing I do like, the dealers I bought from, like, putting new tires on the cars and stuff like this. So based upon what I saw, he didn't make a lot of money. He made some money, but he didn't make a lot of money off me, because it's harder to sell these cars for the prices they used to sell them. So we will see. We will see. One of the things that I really like about this process is it's kind of awakened something in me, because I haven't been out like this. I haven't had a day where I've been out all day like this in years. In years, man. So go ahead and get this going, get this additional source of revenue. And one of the things I like, because all my revenue sources are connected to YouTube. And long as YouTube is bumping, I'm good, right? Like, this was a record month for Savage Finance. But what about those down months? Because if I get more traffic, more people find me, more people buy products. But this is a business that will not be dependent upon YouTube. And I like that. I like that a lot, because I can scale this business up. And also, there's a guy here on YouTube, Flying Wheels. He's an automobile dealership. He got 1.6 million views. His people love him. If his AdSense is anything like mine, he can maybe make it $20,000-$30,000 a month just from YouTube, which is good coin, which is really good coin. And essentially, I'm not going to do a lot for at least a year. I'm going to operate out of an office, and I'm just going to do it that way, because doing a lot it's money. It's just like, I go ahead and sign a lease. Let's say I find a place that's $5,000 per month. It's going to cost me $10,000 to get in. It's $20,000 for signage and conditioning and painting it. So I'm not going to do a lot or location. I'm going to work out of an office, get my dealer's license as an auto broker, and go to the auctions and work my model. I saw a guy, he's been doing this. He's been buying his cars from auctions. He's not bought a car in months because the prices are too high. So I don't think anyone has this rent first, then sell the car model yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm the first one to think of it. I don't know. But that's the plan, because once I get it built and I get it to the point where the rental income is enough to buy new cars that I can then turn around and rent, and then get this buy here, pay here thing going. Because the whole issue with buy here, pay here is I could go out and buy a bunch of cars, right? And then once I start selling them, I'm not going to get my money back quick enough to go out and buy a bunch of more cars. Because essentially I crunched the numbers, and it's like, if I went ahead and took $150,000 And let's say I went out and bought $5,000 cars, right? So 150 would get me like it's like 5, it's 20 and 50. Get me $5,000 for each 10,000. That's 2 cars. So yeah, like get me 30 really cheap cars that I can do as a buy here, pay here situation, right? And then I'm not going to get enough money to go out and buy 30 cars again without adding more money. Because one of the things I learned this lesson when I was in the storage auction business and I was selling new office furniture. Don't take money from a cash cow and put it into a new business. And that's what I did. And I learned a lesson because the new office, the new furniture website, it did okay, but the aggravation, the time, the shipping, I would have made more money if I had stayed focused on the storage auction business and did that versus taking money and starting this new website. So I've learned that lesson. So I'm going to take a set amount of money from my current business, and that's it. I'm not going to keep adding money because essentially, this is a business that you can spend millions, easy, millions, easy. And I don't want to get to that point where this one business is now supporting this other business because it allows me to do more and fancy things. I want this business to support itself and then grow. Because even if the business only, like in June, say it made $20,000 after expenses, that's 2 more cars. And I would buy 2 more cars. And then next month, I would make enough to buy 2.5 cars. And I would keep that money in the bank. And then until I get enough money to go out. And because essentially what I'm going to do is, since I'm going to be doing buy here, pay here, I'm going to try to keep it where I'm buying $10,000 cars. That's where I'm going to try to keep it, because essentially I don't want to sell people junk. I don't want to sell people cars with issues. I don't want to do that. So I want to sell a good product, and the $10,000 mark gets me a lot of cars. Like at the auction, 10,000 is going to go a lot further than out here. However, since I know that I'm buying these cars to sell in the future, I got to get good cars. So it's going to be a little tricky in this first wave. It's going to be a little tricky because, I'm buying these cars and I'm like, is that a good deal? So I got a lot to learn. And this is one of the things, I'm putting myself in the position to completely learn a new business, learn a new form of marketing, learn all kinds of new stuff. And I'm going to bring it to you here on YouTube's. So I'm going to be talking about this because this is going to be a case study about making money. And this is going to give me a tremendous amount of new content that I've never, ever talked about. It's going to be interesting because I can bring to you guys real stuff. I'm going to, do this because essentially I'm trying to create a situation that existed when I was in that situation. There were no buy here, pay here's like this when I was homeless, didn't have a car. There was nothing like this, because somebody is going to be able to come in, put $2,000 down, and drive out with a good, serviceable vehicle. Because essentially, this is why I'm making this investment in these kind of vehicles. And like I said, I'm going to get tighter on the budget, um, because I can get cars for 10,000. Like, I'm just going to have to throw this overage into the budget to make up for my overage. But um, I know that, because essentially I got to wake up and I got to um, go get in it. This is why I'm staying away from certain cars. Certain cars are money pits. Like this Porsche, it's nice, but I don't know if that Porsche would rent well on the website. That would be a 100% a gamble. Whereas I could see an Uber driver like, yeah, I'll take that because, it's a nice car. But once again, I'm proving the thesis. Once I put it on the platform, I'll see what happens. I'll see what goes down. I will see what's going to happen. I will see, because essentially I'm dealing with a bunch of unknowns. I'm dealing with a bunch of unknowns, and I'm going to find out the answer to these questions. Just give me some time. I'm going to find out the answer to these questions. So, you get to see me. This is day one of, from now to May 31st is acquisition phase. I'm not really trying to, quote, make money. I will put the cars on the platform, but my goal is to get these cars, because based upon my calculations, I can sell, like, it's going to take me 14, 15 months to get to where I want to be. And then I can start to sell 30 cars per month. Well, I got to look at my paperwork. I'm pretty much going to go over the business plan with you guys. But yeah, so that's what's going on. I got 3 cars today. I will be doing these little updates and stuff. There will be a lot of content about this. And we will see. So for those of you who want to be part of the art of holding, and the price hasn't gone up, so you can still jump in there, get that training. And if not this week, next week I'm going to start the live training again, and then we're going to be talking about some stuff. And also, I may start an apparel business as well. I know that's a little crazy, but once I kind of get my feet under myself, because like this is insane. This is insane. And I'm challenging myself and I'm pushing myself, but this is insane. So that's all I got for you guys. So I will see you in the next one.